and I'm back with another battle. I hope you like the new intro music. It's a bit more ominous. I like that, personally. But here we are. 2000 points against the Dwarven Holds again. Same friend. And still no objectives, still just playing around, having some fun. Also, I painted up, or converted, painted, something like that, this razortusk chariot with the Beastlord model. So I'm absolutely excited about this. I've been wanting to field this kind of guy since 8th edition, so the 7th edition book. But, you know, the price tag was just like the monsters unreasonable. So 9th age fixed that. I finally found some time to get back to painting and converting. So here he are. Here he is. And as you can see here in the army list, he is included, obviously. And you can pause and read the list. So this picture here is my planned deployment. This was at my kitchen table or my dining table before I left. I played around and tried to see what I could do with deployment to make it effective, and this is what I came up with. So the plan is, I have the pillager icon giving vanguard to the single chariots and razortusks, and I want to optimize my use of the space on the board, because I know a horde of Gors or wild horns take up a lot of space. So with this setup, my thought was that the razortusk could vanguard up, and my chariots would be 3 inches behind them, so they would still be able to vanguard up 9 inches. And with that, they'd be within 6 inches of my Beastlord, who gave them +1 move on the charge. So, you know, there were some possibilities there to take good use of deployment space and vanguard. So the Minotaurs one hard flank with the gore tag, and the dogs over there to chaff up things that would frenzy bait them otherwise. Same as the scouting mongrel raiders there, also to protect the Minotaurs from potential shooting. And just the horde on the other side to keep stuff up, can reform and form up with the 9.5 rank and be steadfast for a long time. And of course, the unit is all about my Beastlord and my Beast Chiefs and BSB. As you noticed, my Beastlord, I mean, this unit is made to hit enemy bunker unit, or not a bunker unit, Lord, hero carrier, Death Star type unit. And the plan is that my very survivable 1 of 4 BSB takes the challenge from a potential, well, anyone, and my Beastlord on the razortusk chariot that has +1 to hit, and he has the Kingslayer sword, is just supposed to wreck face on the unit itself and break its steadfast as soon as possible. Just, you know, cause absolutely mayhem until my Beast Chieftain dies, and then go into challenges and start cutting down characters with his +3 or 2 strength and attacks. On the battlefield, it ended up looking like this after deployment. So as you can see, I pretty much stuck to the deployment after some time. My opponent, my friend there, he just dropped everything he got to deploy first, chose himself and dropped it all to be sure to start. So I had some thinking to do, and I did like this. I kept the dogs on the other side of the frenzy units, Minotaurs and the gore tag, because I didn't see anything that was really a threat to redirect them, or enough at least. I also really wanted to, on the hill up there's an organ gun and the bolt thrower, and I really wanted a chance to get to those, and I know he would probably shoot down the closest razortusks, so yeah, all in on that. Also, the Dwarf King on a warthrone, he gets 4 grudges, D3 +1 for the king himself, and he begrudged the Wildhorn unit, my character unit there in the middle, the Minotaurs, and the gore tag, obviously. So yep. Dwarf movement in turn 1 looks like that, plain and simple. In his magic phase, he gets off 2 of his spells, and it's just, you know, buff spells generally, make them harder to kill, make them more killier. That's all the dwarves do. And I just let it through because he doesn't have anything else, and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna stop something because might need to stop it. Shooting phase kills chariot, kills a razortusk. So as expected, I would have long charges to make if I wanted to hit those war machines on turn one. I need to roll a 10 with wrist right on those two remaining units, the razortusk and chariot. And beast hurt turn 1. I declare charges, and as you can see, my chariot connects. Oh man, I rolled a 5 and a 4 and then something lower with the razortusk, and just really rolled 5 and a 5 with the chariot. The dogs failed too, and that'll be quite a problem, or it'll be an inconvenience, as you'll see. And in close combat, my chariot kills the organ gun and overruns into both thrower. Nice. So after my turn 1, I completely failed magic. I rolled 9 dice for the face and 9 5, so he got 5 dispel dice, and I didn't get anything off. He dispelled the movement penalty. What's it called? Oh, sorry. Anyways, the Wildwood Curse. He dispelled that, and then I 2 dice the Black Wing totem on my chariot character unit to make them able to charge anything pretty safely. And I rolled really low, so he picked up 1 dice with his +3 and dispelled it. And then I had 3 dice left, tried to cast Beast Within on my Minotaurs, I just failed. Man. As you can see, also the problem with my dogs, as I mentioned, was that they are now blocking up my wild horns. So, I mean, I angled them so they would still be somewhat close to stuff, but not too good. But it was a chance to reach the war machines, and I didn't know at the time that the chariot would make it. So I don't regret it. Just annoying now. Dwarf turn 2. Shooting kills a few wild horns. Those 12 coilers there, crossbow dwarves. And the greybeards, the 17 greybeards with throwing weapons, kill a Minotaur. That was pretty effective. Ouch. Up here, my chariot kills his bow thrower in close combat and overruns into his crossbows. I mean, man, that chariot and that whole strategy with the pillager icon against this kind of list my opponent brought was brutal. Because I made the charge. So at the end of that turn, you can see the King's Guard charged the razortusk, and it fled in the middle there, the one that failed the charge in the beginning. So the King's Guard are now, the purple die on the hill left from them is where they're actually at, or where their flank is actually. So they're not right up next to that Slayer unit there, or Greybeard unit. They're actually on the hill. You can also see the Slayers that were to the right of the Greybeards are now, I don't know if you can see that, but they're into my Minotaurs, because they charged my Mongol Raiders, killed 8 in total, lost 4 themselves, and are now into my Minotaurs. So thank the heavens I brought paired weapons with them this time. And Beast hurt turn 2. I declare some charges in the middle, and yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Gore-Tag into Greybeards and my my character unit into his, and boy am I nervous, because that king on the throne is, I know he got at least 6 wounds, and he's a warrior king, so he's beefed up with saves, I'm pretty sure of that. And the dwarves can just make the meanest close combat characters. And I'm not about to just kill the rest of his army and dance around. That would just be too boring. That's not what I mean. On the left side of the board, my left, the dogs charged the crossbows to make room for the wild horns to charge the King's Guard in the flank, because they actually only needed an 8. So I declared those 2 charges as well. I know the dogs will feed easy combat rest for the crossbows against my chariot, but you know, it's totally worth it. And the Gortak makes it, but oh, man, come on. I needed to roll a 5 in total with my chariots there. And okay. I mean, I think actually the odds are against me in this battle. I think I might lose that 40-60 to him percent chance, but I mean, I made this unit for that, and I just wanted to see it happen anyway. But they failed, and well, ouch. And the razortusk rallied. However, in the magic phase, I do get Curse of the Wildwood off on them. As you can see, and well, I think that's a big hill, but at least it'll punish him if he charges. As you can see also, there's no Wildhorn Horde on their side. I rolled a 7 with 2d6. So for those of you who know Beastmen and the pack tactics rule, yeah, I forgot the Swift Stride. I might have failed it anyway, but oh dang. I mean, with my chariots failing the charge, it's probably for the best. Well, that's hard to say. We'll see what happens. We'll see if it is. You can see here the Minotaurs who are about to kill the Slayers there get hard target because I wholly expect them to just slaughter those Slayers and turn to face the flank of the incoming Kingsguard. I mean, if they come, they'll be in their flank, and that means the Thunderers up there will be able to shoot at them, so some damage control. And it goes according to plan, as you can see here. So, oh yeah, and the combat here, the Greybeard's hold against the Gortak, I don't roll that well actually. As you can see, I killed 5 in total, I think. So roll the 1 for stumps and stuff like that. Happens. They hold. And this combat rolled the 1 for impact hits. I rolled 5 against each war machine, so I'm not complaining. I even held, even though he killed 3 dwarfs, hounds, so that's fine. So at the end of my turn too, you can see, if you look at it, there's 1 less minor than there were before. It's because we forgot that he had a grudge on the minors, so he actually got to reroll, and since we remembered he missed 3 out of the 4 coming with me death strike hits, he just got to reroll them and killed another Minotaur. Yeah. So, Dwarf's turn 3. Movement, he backs up his Kingsguard 2 inches. It's a normal move, no dangerous terrain, so yeah. And you can see in my magic phase, I had also moved my razortusk up after casting some beast magic. So it's making sure that his unit would not be in fight against my character unit until my turn, so I could charge in the Minotaurs in his flank before that combat started. And, the Curse of the Wildwood spell would mean he would have to take 2 dangerous terrain tests, 1 from the charge, 1 from the overrun, into my chariot. So, I mean, he backed up, and I understand him. I almost regret casting that spell on them, actually, because I would still have liked him to charge in, even though I mean, considering how tough that unit is, I think it would be one of the best chances I would have to break them. But I cast the spell, he backed up, and this is how it looks. In his magic phase, he gets 4 dice, and he gets 3 of the bounce spells off. He casts them all, doesn't roll. I think he actually rolled a 1 or 2 for 1 of them. But, I mean, he rolled a 6 on the final bounce spell, the one that matters the most to me. I had 3 dice to dispel, throw 3 dice, and once again, I just rolled like crap. So he gets that one off too. That's just getting comical. In the shooting phase, the Minotaur takes 2 wounds, so lose 1 more guy there. And this battle just draws on. I mean, I have a flank, I cause 1 wound, he kills 2. Yeah, nothing new. They just stick there. End of the Dwarf's turn 3 looks like this. Just an overview. The Gortak, as you can see, drove off the Greybeards, but didn't catch them. So that's unfortunate. So I have a dilemma where do I want to charge these guys off the board, or do I want to turn the Gortak if I make the leadership test to control him and face the Thunderers in the ruin? Well, I'll have to make that decision eventually. In my turn 3. The character unit and the razortusk, so my chariot guys, they declare charge on the King's Guard, and so does the razortusk in front of them, to make room obviously. In the magic phase, I cast Curse of the Wildwood on the King's Guard once again, mostly to give them the -1 to hit. And I do it with overwhelming power, and he lets it through, or he can't dispel it, I think was more the case. We counted my roll up, and with the dice he had, he wouldn't be able to match it anyway. And I miscast, and I roll a 5. And I had used, I think, 4 dice or something, so that was pretty lucky it wasn't a 4, and that's exactly the reason I brought this bunker unit of Mongol Raiders. So that I could just throw spells with as many dice as I want, never fearing that, oh no, I might kill a huge chunk of this important unit, and thereby not being afraid to utilize my caster, which would just, I don't like that, so I always bring them with this kind of unit that's just supposed to be able to just be blow up fodder, basically, so I'm not afraid to use my caster when I need to. So I kill 2 of those and take 1 wound, and well, that's what it is. In this combat, they kill the final dog and reform to face my... So, this charge I talked about. My chariots and the razortusk made it this time. And whoa, things get interesting. As you can see here, my chieftain is the old Gorthor, the Beast Lord model there, is dead. So, it turns out that his Dwarf King, as you saw in the... in the intro with the army lists, that is just brutal. I didn't expect him to be this brutal. So D3 wounds and strength 10 against everything with toughness 5 and an extra attack. It's just 2 wounds get through on my my BSB, and he rolls 1 and 3 wounds, so he's dead. Ouch. However, you can see all those models down there, or up there at the end of the table. That's what my Beast Lord and my razortusk killed. So that was... I don't think this combat is going well for me, but I just love that. Just the visual image in my head of this Beast Lord chariot razortusk thing just smashing through the hammers, killing everyone. He takes 2 wounds from his troubles, though, against the hammers, so that's not too good. I failed both of my 4-ups and 5 of armor saves, so... and I have to fight in a challenge with that Lord next time, so I'm expecting him to die, hoping he won't. Ouch. In the end, we barely hold. You can see here, at the end of the turn, I'm still there fighting with them. We just draw on the combat results. He had a position, and I made my leadership 9, not rerollable save leadership test. As you can see, also the Minotaurs moved up during this turn towards that battle. I made it so that if my Beast Lord hold and are still there in my next turn, the Minotaurs will be able to charge. And if my Beast Lord is not killed, but he flee and the dwarves run after him, he has to run pretty far to miss the Minotaurs. That was the best I could do. Well, that's what I did, at least. Also, the gore check, as you can see, I turned it to face the handgunners. I thought it would be worth it. So, dwarf turn 4. And we just, in the magic phase here, the Rune Lord casts a Rune of Gleaming on the King's Guard, distracting in close combat, which is all that matters. And my Beast Lord has to accept the challenge from the Dwarf King, and boy am I nervous about this one. Ouch. Well, I knew that. My Beast Lord survives, takes no wounds, and put 2 on the Dwarf Lord. He, at the end of the day, after armor saves and 2 wound rolls and stuff like that, he has 2 wounds on me. And I rolled 2 4 ward saves, a 4 and a 4. Whew! And I roll when I have to flee. I roll an 8 with stride. And the thing is, as you noticed probably, He has movement 4, and it doesn't matter here, but swift stride as well. So when I rolled that 8, I was like, yeah, oh, I can't expect to survive this. And he rolled like a 5 or something, and got stranded there 3 inches away. So that, with a good amount of luck, turned out pretty okay for me. I mean, I'm not too, those minotaurs in his flank are making me somewhat happy. And my turn 4. This is where it goes down. I mean, it's a pretty decisive turn, because if my minotaurs can't break that unit, or at least absolutely decimate it, I mean, he can just charge my beast lord again, and he won't make it with no impact hits in a challenge against that lord. I mean, yeah, I can't expect to be lucky 2 times in a row with him. I can hope to, but I won't expect it. Yeah. So my minotaurs charge into the flank of the king's guard. My beast lord rallied, luckily. I mean, leadership 9 isn't that reliable. Easy to fail, especially in crucial moments. The wild horn charged the crossbow unit. I didn't know at that time that when you are in water, every rank that touches the water doesn't count as a rank. So I have no ranks up there. But well, I thought I would have. And my plan was to break them and reform the wild horns after the combat, so they'd face 5 wide and they would face the King's Guard's flank at least. But yeah, it'll be tougher now when I can hardly do anything. Also, in the close combat phase, I don't activate the banner because I still don't think that I still think I have ranks, but at that point. The Gore-Tag charges the handgunners. They decide to flee to force me through the dangerous terrain and also have a chance to survive, but I catch them, destroy them. Yeah. You can see that here. Reform like this. I don't want to charge through that terrain again. I took 2 wounds from it. So if I charge those greybeards, which would be a potential target, then I might take 2 more wounds, and then he would have to be the ability to stand and shoot with the throwing weapons, and it's very likely he'd roll 2 6s to wound, and then that Gore-Tag would be dead. So, but I wanted the option to do it if the situation turned out where it would be necessary, or the best option. And in close combat, this is what it's all about. Can the Minotaurs do it? 4 guys left, one of them on 1 wound. Can they break the Dwarf King? As you can see, I have a huge advantage in that, well, I have the charge. So there are impact hits from me, and his unit is, after he reformed during the combat to get more attacks against my razortusk on the flank, he has no characters base to base with my Minotaurs. He drops his Holdstone, so his king gets to make his one supporting attack, because he's an infantry model. And I just hope to absolutely slaughter that unit. They still have the Rune of Gleaming, so my Minotaurs hit the normal hammers there on a 5 up. But yeah. My Shaman casts Beast Within on the Minotaurs, helping them out there, so their impact hits and the attacks are strength 6 now. So that's 2 up to wound rather than 3 up. He miscasts again and kills 2 more of the Mongol Raiders and takes his final wound. Again, really loving my Shaman with the Mongol Raider bunker there. Just the mobility that bunker gives to move around just 10 inches any direction I want. And that they're skirmishers, so when I rolled a 5 again. So it's a small template again. And because it's so small, it only hits 2 of them. It's just, I really love having my Shaman in that kind of unit. Anyways, Minotaurs are strength 6, toughness 5, goes into combat. I'm hitting on 5 up, and I just cause 7 wounds out of 10 attacks, because his king goes before me, or in the same time actually. I'm not sure. Something happened, and at the end of the day, because where my musician standard was, I had to remove the Minotaur that was in base contact at the beginning of the battle with some of his models. So only 2 Minotaurs went base to base when I got to hit. Maybe we just forgot that we were both initiative 4. I think that actually. But this is what happens. And as you can see here, I roll. I kill all the remaining Kingsguard. And my friends told me that when you have more hits than there are normal guys in a unit, you have to distribute them to the characters as well. And I wasn't sure about that in close combat, but they insisted, and we just did that then. And so I also gave 1 wound to his Rune Lord, I think it was. Yeah. So, but it didn't matter that much. I still win by a lot. And he breaks his steadfast. And with the roll he made to his leadership, it wouldn't have mattered because he fled. Yeah. And he has swift ride. I don't. Can I catch that unit? Ensure the points are there. I mean, he would have to flee through my wild horns, but that's only 1 dangerous terrain test for each character, so no one would die. I did. He rolled really low. My Minotaurs rolled higher. I think. Yeah, I rolled an 8, and I think he rolled a 6. The best 2 dice out of 3. And they die. So all that remains of the dwarves now are the crossbows, and also the greybeards up there. And that was it. My opponent called it there. The crossbow guys and the greybeards fled the field, seeing their king fall, and the beastmen still being very strong in numbers. The beast lord still standing, and I don't blame them. So this is what it looks like at the end of the battle. Man, what a battle! I don't know about you, but I mean, this battlefield opened right until the end. I mean, I know my Minotaurs had a good chance to break that unit, but it's just hitting on 5 up and having primal instincts on leadership 9, but not rerollable. That can fairly easily go wrong. So I might not have had that reroll, which ensured me all those hits. I mean, I rolled pretty well. I'll have to give you that. It was also a lot of luck. But I mean, if I hadn't had those rerolls, I was hitting that unit on 5 up with 10 attacks. That could very well have been 3 hits or 2. And he killed 1 Minotaur with the Lord, causing 1 wound, only with a D3. And he had a banner, war standard. I mean, he would have won that actually. I think, or at least drawn it. But I made that primal instincts test. My Minotaurs just absolutely brutalized that unit as if they were hitting on 3 up or something. And yeah, this battle was won on I'd say 70% luck on my part. I did do the right things. I mean, I did the things that gave me the chance to win. So it's not like I was just completely playing like a chicken with no head. But even doing the things I needed to do to give me the best chance, I still had a poor chance to win, in my opinion. I mean, my Beast Lord surviving that combat against the Dwarf Lord, not being run down on a roll of an 8 when they also have Swift Stride. The Minotaurs making a leadership 9 test and hitting with a lot on 5 up. Yeah. If a Beast Lord hadn't targeted his unit as I planned from the beginning and cut all those Kingsguard down so he didn't have an extra rank and was steadfast, then if I hadn't done that, then I'm pretty sure that the Kingsguard would have been steadfast with the king and my Minotaurs would not have run them down. So it's not all luck, but a good deal of luck on my part. My opponent was very, I won't say upset, It's like, oh, dang, that was close, He had a huge chance to win. My Beast Lord surviving that battle was just, that was lucky. So yeah, that was that. As you can see here, I lost 875 points. He conceded after turn 4, so he would probably have lost it all. So he lost 2,000, and there are bonus points for the banners and stuff like that, but we don't count it up and stuff. You can do that if you want to. But a great win for the Beast Herds this time. No guts, no glory. It paid off. I hope you enjoyed this battle. I sure did. We had a lot of fun. It was a very exciting battle all through the game. Not sure I'd make the same decisions next time, but yeah, just have a good time, guys. I hope you were entertained as much as I was during this battle and in the making of it. Yeah, just game on.